Well, you can add Angie's List to the list of companies potentially pulling out of the state of Indiana after the governor of Indiana signed what has become a very controversial Religious Freedom Act. Some say that this allows businesses to turn away gay and lesbian customers in the name of religious freedom. The state of Indiana says it is not that. Rather, a company can take this to court if a government entity is involved. Angie's List CEO says the company's expansion project in Indianapolis is on hold until the law's impact on employees is fully understood. Here's what CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin told me about the law.
This legislation.
I think the law itself is almost certainly constitutional. It's very similar to a federal law that has been upheld by the Supreme Court, but there are going to be circumstances in which the law is applied which may wind up in court cases, and they may wind up before the Supreme Court.
Look, the NCAA has spoken out about this. They said they're concerned. You've got the Final Four about to take place in Indianapolis, and the Republican governor, the Republican mayor of Indianapolis has said he opposes this idea despite his Republican governor supporting it. How much do you think it is going to be a challenge on that front in terms of public perception and businesses?
See, Poppy, I think that's the real issue. I think this is much more a political issue at this point than a legal issue. I think it's clear that Indiana has the right to pass a law like this. Similarly, businesses have a right to say, you know, we don't like this law, we don't like your state anymore, and we're going to take our business elsewhere.
All right, well, overnight, basketball legend Charles Barkley weighed in saying, quote, discrimination in any form is unacceptable to me as long as anti-gay legislation exists in any state. I strongly believe big events such as the Final Four and the Super Bowl should not be held in those states and cities. Of course, the Final Four just a few days away from being held in Indianapolis. Joining me now to talk about it, CNN political commentator Ben Ferguson, host of the Ben Ferguson Show. Ben, I just want to be very clear here. I had a discussion with the governor of Indiana's office this week about this, and they said basically the media is misconstruing this. They said, look, the governor himself said, he said this bill is not about discrimination. If I thought it legalized discrimination anyway in Indiana, I would have vetoed it. And they said this is only if a government entity is involved, then businesses can take it to the courts. Here's the thing, though. Counties in Indiana are government entities. So Christian businesses or any business that doesn't want certain customers could say in court that the counties can't force them to serve gay people. Where do you fall on this?
I think that is going a little bit to the extreme. I think the reality is people that have private businesses should be able to hold true to their religious beliefs. For example, if someone walks into an openly gay restaurant or bar and says, I want to rent your venue for a pro-marriage event, should those owners be able to say, no, we are not going to allow you to rent our venue because you're standing up for something that is completely against our life and our lifestyles? I think they should be able to say no. At the same time, if someone that makes a wedding cake is asked to make a cake that is for a gay wedding, they should have the right, based on their religious beliefs, as a private business to say no to that. We already have this where people put posters up that say, do not bring your firearm into my business, even if you have a permit to carry, which is issued by the United States government. So this is not something new or shocking. No shirt, no shoes, no service is another example of that.
Ben, isn't that different? Choosing to carry a firearm in somewhere, choosing to buy a gun, than being gay?
No, I think the point is that if you have a private business, and as a business, do you have the right to stand by your moral convictions and your values? I'll go back to the first thing I said. If you're an openly gay couple and you have an openly gay bar and someone comes in to rent it for a pro-marriage, traditional marriage rally, should that gay couple be able to say, look, what you're going to have is completely against my lifestyle. I am not going to rent you my venue for your traditional marriage rally. I think that openly gay couple that owns an openly gay business should have the right to do that, and they shouldn't be attacked by the government or charged with a crime or be shut down because they chose to stand by their personal beliefs. It works both ways.
Hey, Ben, what if you are, I want you to address this. What if you are what if a racist person says, I don't want a black person or a Hispanic person or a white person in my business. How is this different?
I think it's different because that is something that does not come down specifically to religious beliefs. I think when you're talking about traditional marriage or gay marriage, it is something that has been voted on.
It's not just about married people. It's talking about, it's gay. You're talking about if someone's gay, not just if they're a married gay person.
But Poppy, we had people that voted on gay marriage recently in quite a few states, including California. This is a political issue, not a race issue. It has been treated as a political issue, a personal issue for many voters, and they put it on a ballot. No one was screaming about it then, so why now is it all of a sudden now it's this civil rights movement issue when it wasn't before when people voted on it?
Here's the difference, right? Gay marriage is one thing, and people have their certain political, religious beliefs about that. This isn't addressing that. It's not just saying, and it doesn't even use the word LGBT or gay in the law. It's about religious, it says religious freedom. But isn't there a difference, Ben, between allowing someone to hold an event that is a pro-gay event, right, or a pro or an anti-gay marriage event? Isn't there a difference than letting that person in, then being objecting to whether gay people can marry one another? There's a difference. It's about serving a person.
I get your point there, and based on the
interpretation, skin color or being gay.
Right, and based on the interpretation of the law, this is not where you can post up a flyer that says no gay people are allowed to come into my bakery or my restaurant or eat in my or eat at my venue or attend an event at my venue. This is about forcing a private business owner to basically have to make something for someone for an event which they disagree with. I think there is a difference there. If someone has a venue and says no gay people allowed, I think we can all agree that would be incredibly bigoted and that would be wrong. I think what the law is saying is I shouldn't be forced. If I am a business that has moral beliefs and a Christian belief or whatever it may be in traditional marriage, I should not be forced to use my venue or make something for something that goes against my personal values as a private business owner, the same way that a gay couple that owns a business shouldn't have to do it for traditional marriage.
I read the law, and it does not distinguish whether it is serving someone a meal or making a wedding cake for a certain kind of wedding. And I think, Ben, you and I could both agree we're going to have to see how this plays out in the state of Indiana. We'll continue to cover it. Come back on next week. Let's keep talking about it ahead of the NCAA Final Four being there. Thanks very much, Ben. I appreciate it. Ahead.